Hello, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm about to talk about the death of Sylvester, 12-year-old that was bullied and eventually died in Dowen College, Lagos, Nigeria. Lekki, Nigeria, actually. It reminded me of my own experience over 30 years ago when I was in secondary school. So I said, let me just talk about this. In my life, I've had many experiences, but every time this sort of thing happens, takes me back to, life occurrences. So for Sylvester's story, CRUELTY, I was watching the interview with Punch newspaper interviewed his dad, and dad talked about how the guy got sick and everything that happened, and he eventually got to know from him just before he finally died about what really happened. And even in trying to do autopsy right now, black substance was found in his tummy, which they're still trying to test and know what it is. So that means he actually drank something. Somebody made him drink, or those boys that he mentioned, they're still investigating, so we don't want to mention names. So it's unfortunate, highly unfortunate. And it took me back to my secondary school days. Right now I have 2 children. One is 9, the other one is 12. I will never leave them in boarding house. Why? My experience over 30 years ago in secondary school was horrible. I remember when GS1, first time GS2, I remember now. I had this experience. We had seniors. I was in a Unity secondary school. In those days, the Unity secondary school were actually fantastic, but seniors have always been bullies, and they will always be. So they need to be checked. Of course, parents need to be training their children well so that they will not raise monsters. So the seniors were bullies. They were, everything evil. I remember my experience then. I can't remember now vividly what happened, but some of us juniors were lined up, punished for whatever reason. And I remember for the first time, I had this sort of like asthma attack, because my heart was beating fast like that. Eventually, I don't know how or who took me to the principal's office, and I went there. Then I remember the principal lined up the seniors. I remember there were like 10 or 13 seniors. They were lined up on a straight line, and the principal wanted to suspend them for me, for what they actually did. And I remember then I was so scared that they'd suspend them. I would be in trouble again. I was one begging the principal, like, oh no, kind of, I forgive them kind of scenario. That happened. Went back to the hostel. My life was miserable. I had a senior. In those days, in my time, seniors usually sleep up the upper bunk. Can never forget. I had a senior. Even if I don't remember anybody's name, I remember the senior. Her name was Ife. Yoruba name, Ife, senior Ife. She was sleeping upper bunk. I was sleeping in the lower bunk, and she used to be. So every day I just say I'll be in my sleep after being traumatized by seniors sending me on errands, do this, do that, do this, do that. I'll just be sleeping, then I'll just shower, shower my head, wee. This senior was weeing practically every night and was weeing on my head. And I could not have the effrontery as a junior to say, oh, senior, if you weeing on me, So she would wee on my bed. She would lay her own bed quietly with the wee. I would now go and spread mine, that the wee came down on. Can you imagine the trauma? So I went through all that. I remember the country. So when it was a visiting day, when my mom and my dad came visiting, they came to visit me, I was withdrawn. I was a very light in complexion child. I was black. I was thin. I remember days that I would not eat for like 3 or 4 days. On my way to prep or my way out, I would see people walking like upside down, as in I was the spirits. I was no longer a normal human being. I was just walking about. I would not eat. I would just be moving around mad in goats. When my mom came, when my parents came to pick me on that visiting day, they came to pick me. They came to visit on a visiting day. Everything they came with me, that I was a very, very vibrant, happy child. I was just withdrawn. So of course I said I wasn't feeling too well. They took me to the health center. from the health center. They agreed that they could take me home for treatments. When we got home, I was eating like a late from prison because I've not eaten in days. You know, they took me to the hospital. Doctor checked. The doctor said there's nothing really like medically wrong with me that they should talk to me. Like I need to be spoken to. I was withdrawn. I would just sit down and be looking. Everybody is talking. I'm just looking like I was traumatized. You know, at the point when I finally just recovered and they said they should return me to school, that was when I said, please, I don't want to go back. That was like second term GS2, I think. So I didn't want to go back. I couldn't go back as I wasn't going back. Do you know, I left school for, they came for visiting. So my bed was laid, my wardrobe was arranged, my box was in my cupboard. I did not go back to that school. I just told my parents I didn't want to go back, and I never went back. I left all my things, and the trauma stayed with me. I didn't even know how traumatized I was until I remembered there was a group for the school, like was Facebook secondary school group. They were all talking, and I went ballistic on the seniors there, talking about my experience. Can't remember, maybe like 10 years ago. That's when I knew that I had it all bottled up, and people were like, "Oh, calm down, it have happened, it have gone." But those traumas never leave. See Don David's case and many other children that have gone based on seniors bullying. This needs to stop. You know, right now, my husband and I made up our mind that we're not taking our children to boarding house. It's stressful, of course. Children are stressful, but they are blessings, so you cope with them. But I prefer watching them go to school and come back than sending them to the boarding house and shall be, I have that feeling every time I think I've gotten over it, the fear comes back to me. In my mind, I can still picture the occurrence of the beating and how I went. I was like that for like maybe 24 hours. I was just lying there. For finally went to the principal, and the experience is horrible, and parents need to change. We need to do better in raising our children, because many of these parents now, we are making money, but we are not instilling. The Bible says that train up a child the way they should go. When they grow up, they will not depart from it. We are not training them, so they are now monsters that just go about bullying other people's children and thinking they are living life. A lot have happened. We have the Abuja case of the girl that died. We don't know what happened to that girl. The story is still being investigated. A lot of horrible stories here and there. This needs to stop. When I was watching Sylvester's dad yesterday breakdown, and they were interviewing him on Point Newspaper on Facebook, it was a very horrible sight to behold. Horrible sight to behold. I saw that Lagos State government, close the school indefinitely for now. Very important. We need to do better. They need to investigate. We can't continue to chunk out monsters in schools or allow monsters to get away with doing evil. They are all children. They should be spoken to. You should have conversation with them. Just some of them that needs therapy should, or psycho evaluation or whatever, or what have you. They should go through that. They can't continue to be endangering the life of other people's children. It's a very painful occurrence, and I pity. I'm sad for Sylvester's family, because the mom will forever be traumatized. Of course, when I watched the father breakdown, I was like, oh, that's a lot. He's the last one of 11 children, and the father was talking about the fact that the boy wanted to be a pilot, and today it's his birthday, or supposed to be his birthday. Now he's dead. So it's unfortunate. People need to change. Parents need to change. Train your children right. Stop chunking out monsters. It's unfortunate, and things needs to get better. Today would have been his 11th birthday, and he was killed by the act of horrible children that were kicking him and beating him. And the father said he didn't even say the truth until he was almost dead. He was still afraid of those people, because and the way those bullies work, they'll say, if you tell anybody, we'll kill you. If you tell anybody, we'll beat you. That was happening then 30 years ago, and it's still happening. We have had many stories after that. For now, to even give any school license to anybody that wants to open a boarding house license, they need to really give rules. So that if a child dies in your school based on the bullying of some other children, then the person that is going to go to prison is even the owner of the school. That can be the rule. So when you are bringing out children, you give them all the, there is counseling department, this one, don't let everything be in place to ensure that those children don't become monsters that will now use their madness to kill other people's children. You can't start talking about cultism in secondary school. What? So parents need to work hard or work harder in raising children, giving them the right values. Don't just give them money and give them anything they want. Raise them right, put values into them, and let them know that other people's life matter, their own life matter, other people's children's life matter. So they don't just go bullying and making children miserable. Don David then said, they said if you tell anybody you'll be in trouble. And therefore the boy, it took a long time for the mother could get to him to get those points out of him. And I remember watching videos of her saying he was going through, therapy, and some people were even finding it funny and defending the school and defending people. Like, no, whatever school, bring them forward. Let this be sorted out once and for all. God bless parents, God bless children, God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But we all need to do better. So that's what I wanted to talk about. God help us. God help the broken-hearted. God help the Sylvester family, the siblings, grant them the fortitude to bear the loss. But this needs to stop. Really, really needs to stop.